It's recording now. Okay. Hi. So to start off, I would like to introduce Anndrea, who was a previous client of ours who joined our 6-month executive coaching program. And actually, you were such a pleasure to coach. I was so excited coaching with you and working with you. You really were a pleasure. So before we kind of go into the program, could you introduce a little bit about yourself and kind of where you were before you joined our coaching program?
Okay, so for myself, obviously got a hectic job, kind of high, high up. So very stressful, working long hours, 2 kids and a husband, and obviously all the pressures that come with that. So a lot of the time for me, it was kind of the stop-start problem. A lot of what I picked up from the program was not necessarily new to me. It's stuff that we can see on social media, we read about it, so I knew what to do, but I would always have how you say, that all-in mindset. So it either had to be perfect, and then something would happen, so a busy week or a sick kid or a holiday or something, and then I would go off track, and then it'll be off for a couple of weeks, and then I would then say, oh, I need to get back again, and then it's kind of back again. So it would just like kind of yo-yo like that. So I guess that's what I was struggling with before I joined. And I know you had reached out to me, like, I think a couple of years back, but again, it was like, no, I'm too busy. I won't be able to, commit to it, which then I realized actually it's not ever gonna work. And so when I did sign up, I was like, I need maybe somebody just to kind of keep me, just help with that consistency. I guess that was the main thing that I was looking for before I joined. Yeah.
No, and I know what you said when you talked about we didn't teach you anything new, because it's like it's out there, like you can Google things, etc. What did, or had you tried anything in the past that you kind of were trying to do but perhaps didn't find it worked previously?
Oh gosh, tons of stuff. It would be like the intermittent fasting, because it's like, obviously I know a lot about the calories. So I was like, well, you're overeating at your meal, so maybe the intermittent fasting, but then that didn't work, because then you would binge by the evening due to the stressful day. I tried calorie tracking, I guess, I don't know, maybe just not good enough, maybe not being accurate enough, maybe using the app like we did when we started the coaching, maybe guessing a lot as well. Then it was like, trying running. I tried a lot of running, thinking, oh, well, extra cardio, will help HIIT. I did a lot of HIIT videos. I follow a couple of people on YouTube. I tried to do the HIIT, had tried the weights, but I think it was just, I wasn't giving it time to kind of do anything. Probably each of those would work, but if 2 or 3 weeks, no results, then it's like, nope, that's not working, try something else. So yeah, even went to like yoga, maybe it's more calm stuff, maybe it's not the intense HIIT, maybe it's the yoga. So yeah, I think tried a couple of things. Those were like the main things. Like I said, you would hear the bits, the weight training, maybe also, I think even with the weight training, not following a proper program, and maybe the correct mix of exercises and stuff like that, and the progression of that. So we had weights for a long time, and I'd done it, but also didn't see results on that either. Yeah. So yeah, lots of stuff tried.
Yeah, because I remember like when you first started, like you did have like some equipment at home, so you were like all ready to kind of go. Exactly. Was there like a pivotal moment before you joined that you felt as if, obviously I know I reached out to you, that you felt, okay, now's the right time? And what made you feel as if like now was the right time for you?
I think from my perspective, my kids were older, a lot more independent, so I didn't have like the sleepless nights. They weren't getting as sick as often, and they kind of eat themselves, change themselves. So I felt like I was starting to get more time for myself. And also from a career perspective, I reached like a really high level, probably as high as I can get for now, and things kind of calmed down a bit. So I guess from that perspective, I felt like maybe I had a bit more time just to turn inwards and focus on myself, and maybe invest in myself, in terms of paying that kind of money. Although having thought back, I thought that 6 months was going to be like nice and chilled and calm, and it actually wasn't. It was a lot going on anyway. So I think you just realize that there's actually no good time really. You have to just kind of really just stop and just think about yourself and do it. But I felt like, so financially we were a little bit better off to kind of afford it. And I did have just the mental space to kind of really invest in it. Because I was speaking to somebody else and I was like, yeah, would you be interested? I was telling them about you. And she was like, well, she just knows that she would just not be bothered. Even if you guys were checking in on her, she just wouldn't be bothered. So I guess her mental space just is not there to kind of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree. And I think that when I look and think about when we were coaching, you literally did just follow everything that we kind of done together, and that's why it works. And you're right, that time, although there's never the right time, I think mentally, I think you need to be ready to change. Although it's not like big changes, but there will be an element of change, and sometimes life, or for whatever reason, for individuals, it might not be the right time. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Going
No point. Also, I guess also just like we could easily lie to you guys. You could lie on your tracker, you could lie on your workouts and say you've done them and that you've done it all. But I guess you're not going to get anywhere, right? You're just wasting money. So you really have to, because you guys can only do so much. At the end of the day, it's up to us to actually put the action to play. So I think really mentally, you do have to be, ready.
Yeah. And so going into the program, obviously you're really busy. Not only are you got a successful career, like you said, you've reached a really high level. You're also a wife and you're a mum to 2 children. How would you say the program fitted into your lifestyle to kind of make it work?
I think what was great is that you guys designed everything that would suit me. So asking questions like how much time could I invest into, exercising? And then that kind of drove the workouts. How long workouts? Can you do 30 minutes? Can you do 1 hour? So I think you guys really personalize it, which was really good. And when I couldn't do it, then we could adjust it. Even from a nutrition perspective, obviously there was the focus on the calories, the number of calories. But then when I mentioned, cooking as a family is a struggle, then you were like, well, take these into account, or don't worry about it. Don't put too much pressure on myself, So I think that personalized element really does make a difference, because again, when you read all the stuff out there, it's those things that work for those people with that lifestyle and their motivation levels or whatever. So when you try and apply that to yours, it sometimes doesn't work. So I think working with you guys, our culture, because we eat like curries and stuff, so maybe considering what types of food we eat, and factoring that in. Do we like sweet stuff? Do I eat chocolates? Do I go out? Do I drink even? And then all of that kind of gets factored in to our program. So I don't think probably any one of your people that you work with had followed the same thing at all,
No.
So I think that's maybe the bit there was the missing piece, is like you bring all this bits that's out there, this information, but then you kind of then specialize it for what works for you. And then that even changed possibly week to week, even like maybe 1 week would look one way and then another week would be different. So I think that really helped a lot. Yeah.
And when I think of you as well, because not only did you see some amazing physical progress as well, like when we put the photos together, like they were just incredible. But one big thing for me was seeing you and your husband cross that finish line on the half marathon.
Oh goodness, yeah, that was an interesting journey. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but like I think when I started, I did set the goal of running the half marathon, because I thought, well, running will burn more calories. Again, that mindset of let's just try and burn as much calories as we can. So I thought if I had a running goal and if I had you guys helping me, then it would help me drop as much. And of course, in the beginning, and this was, I think, the biggest thing for me in the beginning, it was I need the scale to move down, which by the time we got to the end was completely not even the case. And we can touch on that in a bit. But the running initially, the goal was let's just run as much as we can and we'll burn calories. But then and before, when I used to go out and run, it was again to see how many calories I would burn. I would run in a fasted state, again trying to burn the fat. I would run after maybe a night of drinking or a big meal out and stuff. So it was almost like a punishment. Like I never really enjoyed it. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
my phone.
Oh, I've lost you. I can't hear you. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
there we go. Okay. Yeah, so I would go out, but I wouldn't necessarily enjoy it. But then obviously after speaking to Ryan about the whole nutrition piece and fueling and how important that is, so then I started introducing, you know, a banana for the shorter runs and maybe the longer runs, like oats, even protein shake. I would make a smoothie with Greek yogurt, protein powder, you know, all sorts. And I would start feeling much better on my runs, and it actually became enjoyable. So that was the one thing. And then the actual program, because I'd never been on a proper running program. And so the one that you kind of created for me, again, based on how much time I could invest in running, which was 3 times a week. So the interval and tempo runs, and then the easy day, which also just took the pressure off, just to go out easy, short run. And then obviously the longer runs building up to the marathon, half marathon distance. But the tempo runs was what was kind of the game changer, because I never considered that, and I'd never done that. I don't know when was the last time I tried to run fast, actually. And then when I started running and started noticing, actually, wow, look at that pace, I can actually do it. And then the next week when it was faster, and I was like, okay. And I guess the competitive edge in myself was like, let's just push a bit harder and push a bit harder. And so that pace started getting faster and faster, and then it had a knock-on effect on my long distance, and then my average pace on my long distance was even like faster and faster. And my husband, every time he would see Strava, he'd be like, oh, look at your pace, wow, look at your pace. And I was like, yeah, can you believe it, can you believe it? Like, it's like, it was crazy. And then so initially the goal was just to kind of run as much as I can and just get to the end of the line. But then in the last couple of weeks, I actually said, well, actually, I think I can have a time target as well, which was the 2.5. And I was like, maybe we could actually do this. And so that's when he came on board, because when we ran together, he was able to help pace me, like just to keep pushing me. I think mentally as well, I think it is a struggle with those longer distances. So he was like, it's fine. He won't do his time. He'll run with me. And he really pushed me. But I think that program and the advice that you guys gave during that time kind of really pushed me through that race. And having my kids at the finish line, my mom was there, and then crossing with him, it was really great. And that time, I think, was just like incredible. Like, I was really, really pleased with that.
And that's why it's like really nice. It's like good to have like, you know, like a performance related goal. And I know like a lot of the clients will have like a weight loss goal, which we will always respect. But sometimes when you just focus on a weight loss goal, it can be quite demotivating, because us females, we do fluctuate. And that's why having that performance goal, actually, you feel as if you can have something and the weight loss can like eventually come as a byproduct. Is that sense?
Yeah, no, definitely. And actually, I think when we took pictures, because that took us to the halfway mark, and then we took pictures. So from a scale perspective, I actually hadn't dropped that much, but you could clearly see the differences in the pictures. So there was obviously some sort of composition change. So I think there was that mental shift. So achieving on the running, which was like just mentally just a boost anyway. And then the pictures did show that something was happening with it. I mean, the scale definitely, that's what I say. I think that almost broke my emotional connection with the scale at that point, because throughout that 3 months, I would stand on the scale and I think, oh, this is not moving, this running is not working. And, you know, it was kind of, but then I think the motivation from the time improvements and performance kept me going. So yeah, for sure, that having that goal, I think, really was a good one, because I would have definitely been way too focused on the scale, for sure.
And obviously, you know that we talk about the different B's in life, so body, brain, business, and body. Well, this is where my brain felt: body, brain, business, and besties. Do you feel as if like you notice any other benefits around your lifestyle, rather than just it being about like the run and like the body shape changes? And also you mentioned about the relationship with like the scales. Did you notice it filter through into the other areas?
Yeah, for sure. I guess, you know, I think the thing that you guys often have is like those non-negotiables for the week, you know, so things like the hydration, daily movement, even if it wasn't like your full workout, maybe just getting out for that walk for 10 minutes. So I think some of those basics, so the clean eating, like hydration, also the sleep, because I was so bad in terms of working till like 2, 3 in the morning and then having to wake up. So now I was able to build like kind of some boundaries with work, and I'd say, well, I'll work till 9, do what I can, get off, then have kind of no screen time, get to bed by 10, try and wake up by 5, 6 o'clock to then at least start good in the morning. So it definitely helped me at work, because then I feel like I was more focused because I was getting better sleep. So getting better sleep, I guess the activity just helped get that stress off me. So I definitely wasn't as snappy with the kids, with my husband. Like, I think just taking that time for myself, I would listen to my music, listen to some podcasts, just some alone time, I guess,
Yeah.
because it would just be like, work late, have a crappy sleep, wake up early, school run, another long day of work, then dinner, and then like activities, homework, and then like another evening of work. It was just like rolling into each other. And so the kids would do one small thing and I would like literally like snap at them. If I think back, I'm literally like a monster, honestly. And so I think they've noticed a change as well. My husband's noticed a change. I guess us training together as well, my husband and I, we've kind of got something to connect with again. Not that we didn't, but like another topic to talk about, to push ourselves,
Yeah.
and things like that, encouraging each other. So I think, yeah, definitely a more focus at work, kinder to the kids, more time for myself. And then you just feel better. Like the summer, I was like doing races on the beach with Rogan. I asked actually my husband to buy me a bike because the kids had bikes. He had a bike, and I was like, "Can you get me a bike?" And I hadn't ridden a bike in 20 years, and I was like, I used to as a kid, and so we did bike rides. I went down the sand dunes at St. Juan's, like on the booger, like. Reba, one of the scariest things. So my husband's not a strong swimmer. Reba obviously does squad swimming, and I thought that at some point she might want to do some sea swimming, which was always very nerve-wracking for me. I'm a bit afraid, but one day we were at the beach and the bay looked beautiful and everyone was swimming out. So I was like, Reba, shall we go for a bit of a sea swim? We'll go to the deep end where we can't stand and we'll swim across the bay and come back. She's like, really, Mom? She was like so super excited, like she wanted to. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we did like a 45-minute swim in the sea. And it was great. So I feel from my perspective, even though the scale, is still a bit stuck. I lost some weight, but my energy levels, my physical capabilities is just like off the scales now. I'm actually more keen to do it and more active with the kids, which I think is more important really, because I interacted with them. Like normally when we go to the beach, I'm just sat. I found my spot. I'm sitting on the beach, and you guys do what you do. But like I was out there, like doing it with them.
Yeah.
So,
And
like that.
if you think like your kids or anyone around you, they won't know how much you weigh, but what they will remember and what they will see is like what you're doing. So that's incredible.
Yeah, so that's what I said. Even after the program was done, I could definitely see the effects, and I'm still trying to continue with all of those habits and the basics. So over the summer, we obviously indulged a bit, but I guess the key bits like focusing on protein, focusing on hydration, mindfulness. Even if you're eating out, you can still be mindful. Or if you had a better lunch, a bigger lunch, indulged at lunch, then maybe tone down at dinner. It's not like that all or nothing, or it's ruined, we'll start on Monday. I think all of that kind of stigma and like mindset kind of just shifted. And so over the summer, even though I didn't lose, I've maintained, which is really good. And then we've got all this great memories and stuff, which I think is that's what I say. I'm really pleased that I'm not too bothered about the scale anymore. Like I see myself, and I know a lot of the times we would speak about body image, and you would ask me to rate my body image, and I think now it is improving, because it's not necessarily how I look, it's how I feel. And I'm like, these legs are strong legs. You run, like a lot of women can't even run what you run, or the pace that you run, or lift the weights that you're lifting. So I think I can now see the strength in my body rather than the visual
That's, yeah.
aspect, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's been like huge for me. So yeah.
I love that, because I think like from a quality of life, that's so much more meaningful. And if I was to kind of like have like a goal for a client, what you've just said, that's exactly what I would want for them. So I love that. And then so this might be the hardest question. Looking over the program, is there anything you feel was missing or that we could improve on?
I'm not sure. From my perspective, I mean, you guys were always responsive. I think that WhatsApp group chat was great. So whenever I was struggling in the week or at any point in time outside of the usual check-in times, you guys would respond. I felt the feedback was always sensible and like, it made sense at the time. And when I would think back, I'll be like, actually, yeah, I'm being too hard on myself. What they're saying makes sense. The programs, again, I think you guys were great. Like, I mean, there was even that one week when I couldn't get to the gym, and then you quickly put together a program for me to do a workout for my home, to do it at home. Rogan was sick, I think. I don't know, really. You guys are great. That's what I said.
I told you it's a
I
hard
have
one.
recommend. I've been talking to people. I'm like, it is. I think it is worth it. You guys really put in the time and effort. You really try and personalize it, even from a nutrition perspective. I think you guys connect well because you also have your own kids, you've got busy schedules and things like that. So we were able to relate. I mean, our girls were at the same swimming squad as well. So, you were literally going through those same kind of routine struggles that I had. So from my perspective, I don't think I could have asked for much more, really. I know towards the end, you guys introduced your new app, so I didn't really get too much involved, but maybe that could add a bit more value, in terms of having additional workout options and that community connecting as well. Maybe, I suppose, maybe seeing other people's, because I was working with you, but I never knew what your other clients were going through and dealing with, and their successes and their struggles. So I guess maybe, if I understand right, there's like a little community bit in your app. So maybe, I guess, besides speaking to you guys, if people are struggling to relate to you guys, they might maybe relate with other people that are working with you guys. So maybe that would be a good one. But personally, I mean, this was it. I would be quite happy to just do it all over again, I guess. Yeah, so I'm giving myself a chance to see if I can do it on my own, like just from a mental space, like just kind of hold myself accountable. But I'll see. I told my husband, if it doesn't work, I'm definitely coming back.
Well, we'll always have you back. You are such a pleasure.
Oh no, thank you. So from that perspective, I don't think so. Like I said, the check-in calls were really good. The weekly check-ins. I think the questions that you guys ask as well is really good. It's not just like, about the weigh-ins and the pictures and stuff. It's about, your sleep, your stress levels, what's happening. Because again, we had like holidays, we had house moving, we had the death in the family. We had lots of stuff going on, and you guys like dealt with each of those, appropriately, which I think is really good as well, because life happens. I thought it was going to be a quiet 6 months, but it wasn't. It was really hectic. So I mean, I think I don't have anything really, to be honest.
Thank you. All right, I'm just going to stop recording. Thank you so much.
No worries. Yeah, that was kind of fun, actually.